Welcome to All the Things TV video podcast with me, Tiffany Jo Baker, where we help you grip God's grace, use your gifts, and get your goals, even in your mess and mission. This is our Unstuck and Unstoppable Season 3 series, where we talk about the stories, strategies, and steps we need to break through the stuff that is holding us back and move forward in all the things God has called and created us to do. Hello, y'all, and welcome back to All the Things TV with Tiffany Jo Baker. I'm excited to talk about this topic today, and it's how to have daily devos without dropping out. Especially being in Q1 of this year, I think a lot of us as Christian women, we have great intentions. We get up in the morning, we grab our special cup of coffee or tea, we head to that cozy corner, and we're almost ready to spend that quiet time with the Lord. And then something happens. Often something happens. And we get detoured and distracted. And what should be so simple and so imperative and so critical to our daily walk in lives can be so difficult. So today I brought one of my friends on, Cheri Gregory, to talk to us about the daily devotional struggle and how we can get unstuck and unstoppable this year with our quiet times with the Lord. Cheri, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Hey, Tiffany, thanks so much for having me. It's a privilege to be here.
Well, you and one of my friends, Kathy Lip, just launched a devotional that has to do with this very thing. And it's called An Abundant Place, Daily Retreats for the Woman Who Can't Get Away. And so I know as a part of that package, and I guess it was a pre-order bonus, y'all did a little podcast series about Devos for dropouts, encouraging women to do the thing, to do and how to overcome what's holding them back from having that time with the Lord. So I guess, Cheri, just to start us off, what led you and Kathy to even write a devotional for women that can't get away?
Well, as Kathy always says, a global pandemic. It actually goes a little further back than that. We wrote a book together called Overwhelmed, and it really struck a chord with women. And so the thing for women who are overwhelmed is we often wait to do what we know we need to do until things are better. Like I'll start doing my daily devotions once this emergency is over, this crisis, this project, whatever it is, and we can end up waiting forever. So we were already working on the working title was Devotions for the Overwhelmed Woman. We knew that wasn't a giftable title, but we really hunkered down to do the writing right about the time the pandemic began. And most of us couldn't go anywhere. Like we are used to going on retreats. Kathy and I have done quite a few retreats together, not just speaking retreats, but writing retreats, either to the mountains or to the beach. And, so often these retreats have a beautiful destination. Often there's nature involved. And so Kathy came up with this genius observation that she lives at the Red House in the El Dorado Mountains. Like she owns national forest. I don't understand how that works, but she owns forest. And I live on an old former military base on the Central California coast that is now a Christian boarding school. So between the two of us, we do live at these kind of destination locations, the mountain and the beach. And what we wanted to do was invite women to really look for God in nature wherever they are at, even if they can't get away to go anywhere. Because so many women, whether it's because of a global pandemic or because of their season of life, whether they're at home with kids or whether they're in the phase of elder care, so many women, I'll just speak for myself, Tiffany. You can fill me in on how life is for you. Sometimes it's just, I think about getting away, and then I think about all the work it would take to get away, and I'm like, it's just easier to stay home. And so we wanted to be able to speak to the woman who can't get away, or for whom maybe it's just actually more nurturing, maybe more peaceful to stay put and find that retreat-like atmosphere, create that retreat-like atmosphere for herself.
Uh, Genius. Y'all are genius because so many of us are in that season that
Mm-hmm.
that you talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they're caregivers or they're working from home
Yeah.
or travel is a little iffy.
Yeah.
And so creating that space for women is just a beautiful, beautiful thing. So women watching this, most of them are would say, I'm a Christian woman. I love God.
Mm.
I am doing things for him. I am working with him. But yet, even as Christian women, it's hard to make time and to have that daily time. What makes daily devotionals so difficult for even Christian women?
I think there's a lot of factors to it. I think you pointed out already so aptly, we head to our cozy place. And then in my case, my kids are now 29 and 30, but I well remember when they were younger, like everything was going great. And then the humans would wake up. And the moment a human woke up, it was all over.
Mhm,
But this morning, I happened upon a music video from the Disney movie Encanto.
mhm.
And I'm very late to the game, I'm sure, on this, but it was for the song Surface Pressure. Have you heard that?
I haven't seen the
Okay.
movie yet.
Okay. I haven't seen it, but I literally listened to this song and did the ugly cry,
Hmm,
which may be more revealing than I'd like to be. But here's the line. Here's the line that got me. Under the surface, I'm pretty sure I'm worthless if I can't be of service.
hmm,
And I can tell you from my life that it's not necessarily that the kids prevented me from
mhm,
spending my time with Jesus. It's the moment there was an opportunity to leap into
mm,
service, to solve a problem, to right a wrong, or to better yet prevent a problem, because
mhm,
preventing means I don't have to deal with the actual problem later.
mhm,
In hindsight, the number of times I would leap out of my prayer chair, there was no blood, there was no actual crisis. It is such an instinct for me to put down my needs, to say, I can pick
mhm,
this up later, I can do this later, but they need me now.
hmm,
And, I think for a lot of women, that sense
mhm.
of they need me now is
Yeah.
so strong and it is so habitual
Mhm,
that if we don't catch it intentionally and realize they need me, I
hmm.
need the time,
Yeah.
looking back, what I wish I had done is I wish I had realized they need to see me
Mhm,
taking this time.
mhm,
And it doesn't have to be, I'm not talking about Instagrammable. I'm not talking about hours or stacks of concordances or handwritten, on handmade paper using a quill pen and ink. I'm not talking about any of the beautifully, Kathy
mhm.
jokes that she used to think of a person who wrote devotionals as a woman standing in a meadow wearing a billowy white dress. We end up
Yep.
romanticizing things in
Mhm,
unnecessary ways. So I'm not talking about being this picture perfect mom that I wanted them
mhm,
to see doing devotions, but I wish my kids had seen me
hmm,
starting my
mm,
day leaning on Jesus and
mhm,
returning. I think that's another reason why
hmm,
devotions can be hard is maybe we have this view that it has to be first thing in the morning or
mhm,
forget it. Just give
mhm,
up. Just give up.
mhm.
And I've talked to a lot of women who are better off having evening devotions or
Mm,
right before bed devotions.
mhm.
So how about you, Tiffany? What do you think? What do you see in the with the women you talk to? What do you see
Ye
being obstacles?
Obstacles. So you talked a lot about the woman who is people, driven.
Mm-hmm.
And I also work with a lot of people that are project driven. So for
Oh.
them, it's the to-do list that's calling.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
that the schedule that's calling. It's that thing that's screaming that the next thing that their mind's already at that they need to do. So whether you're project focused or people focused,
Mm-hmm.
it's that thing that calling out from you,
Mm-hmm.
calling out to you to do now, and it needs your immediate attention.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we let good be the robber of best,
Yeah.
and we run towards the good things instead of staying paused in the thing that's best that will make those good things even better.
Mm-hmm.
Even better. Okay.
Great
So
point.
a lot of us have the intention. We want to do our daily devotionals. We've even started, maybe we're like a week in, and then it starts to get hard and it starts to get even more difficult as we go on. Do you have any practical tips for people to create a space and to
Mm.
continue to do their devos without dropping out?
I'll share some things, and all of this comes straight from Kathy. I want to give credit where credit is due. Kathy is always talking about pre-deciding.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are things we can do like in the evening. We can, and again, super simple. I'm not talking
Yeah.
about anything complicated here, but to set the intention, for me, I started leaving my Bible open right
Hmm.
next to my prayer chair. And something
Mm-hmm.
about the fact that it was already open, with the little Bible marker there, where I was going to get started.
Hmm.
Somehow that just invited me to something that was already in process. I don't know
Hmm.
why it made such a difference, but just the act of
Love
doing that
that.
the evening
Mm-hmm.
before, making sure that I do like using a journaling Bible, so making sure my
Mm-hmm.
pens were handy. And then just Kathy talks a lot about the importance of adding some tactile things to build a
Hmm.
ritual. And so for a lot of us, being able to put some things that are enjoyable, that are, whether it's a
Mm-hmm.
super soft blanket or a favorite drink or some music. Some people enjoy doing their devotions with some, high energy praise and worship music.
Mm-hmm.
I love there's about 2 or 3 artists that do hymns, both
Hmm.
the older, more traditional hymns and newer songs to piano. It's
Hmm.
just a super sweet piano that I like having in the
Mm-hmm.
background. I know Kathy likes to light candles. I can't because my cat would burn the house down. But I do have twinkle lights.
There you go.
You can
Mm-hmm.
kind of see them in the background.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, all of these have to do with building an atmosphere that's
Mm-hmm.
really inviting and that says this is a thing that we do. We do it
Mm-hmm.
every morning or we do it every day, whatever it is. And it really does help. You mentioned that checklist, that
Mm-hmm.
need for productivity. It helps us create that space and be intentional
Mm-hmm.
about saying, yes, all of that matters. God
Mm-hmm.
wired me that way.
Mm-hmm.
God wired me to love the thrill of checking things off my checklist. And he also
Mm-hmm.
created me to need him. You said, we get so busy doing for God.
Mm-hmm.
And when we create that space and bring some of these tools with us, what it does is it helps us be with God before
Mm-hmm.
we go out to do for God.
Mm-hmm. So important. I love that practical thought of having your Bible
Oh,
open
yeah.
and having it ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
That's because it would be a thing, right? If that Bible is out, that you would have to make the choice to close the Bible
Mm-hmm.
and then open the computer.
Yeah.
And that is like a choice that you would have to make
Mm-hmm.
to say, nope, sorry, don't have the time or not today. And don't get me
Mm-hmm.
wrong, things happen
Of
where
course.
you have to close the Bible and you have to open your computer. But that's a really, really
Mm-hmm.
um, practical tip to have that Bible open, ready to go.
Yeah.
You've already taken some of the steps towards
Yep.
that time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I always like to end with any maybe scriptures or verses or passages that speak to your heart, maybe about time with Jesus or about this topic.
It's my life verse. It's Psalm
Mm,
18:19, and it says, he brought me out into a spacious place. He rescued
mm,
me because he delighted in me.
mm,
And that idea of a spacious place, whether somebody has a real go-getter personality or a more laid-back personality, um, just the idea of spaciousness, I
mhm,
think, is so appealing right now. We feel so much pressure. We feel like so much is packed in, that the idea that God wants to meet with us, that he has created this spacious place for us, and he's there waiting.
mm,
He's there waiting, and we can join him, and it's a time for just the two of us.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So he creates space for us and we
Mm-hmm.
create space for him.
Mm-hmm.
That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Well, you all,
Yeah.
have been talking about, let's see if we can get it on there. An abundant place. It's a beautiful, beautiful gift devotional. I gave it to somebody, a good friend, for Christmas, and I literally have probably gotten 8 texts from her about
Oh.
how much she loves this devotional, how it's just started her day and her year off right. So where can people find out more about you, Cheri, and get this book?
The place to get the book is abundantplacebook.com. And we're actually doing a book club. Kathy and I will be leading a book club starting next week. And they can, I'll drop in the comments below this video.
Perfect.
I'll drop more information about that. And to find me is sensitiveandstrong.com. My primary ministry is to Christian women who are highly sensitive persons.
Wonderful. You do amazing, amazing work. Thank you so much, Cheri, for joining me today. This was great.
Thanks for having me, Tiffany. You take care.
All right, y'all. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on All the Things TV with Tiffany Jo Baker. Well, friends, thank you for joining us today on All the Things TV video podcast. If you enjoyed our time together and are taking away a nugget that has inspired your soul and success, would you share this episode with a loved one who could use it too? And if you haven't already, take a moment to rate and review the podcast and help me spread soul care and dream care. Until next time, I'm Tiffany Jo Baker, a 3-time surrogate and strategizer who loves to help you birth your God-given dreams. Now go do all the things you've been called and created to do with the grace and gifts God has given you.